Here's an interesting a graphic I lifted from my friend John Sanford. Basically, until the 1950s, Darwinism reigned supreme.
Okay.
Darwinism seemed to be able to explain everything. And the amount of information it had to explain wasn't very much.
Right.
You see, the simpler life is, the easier it is for evolution to be true.
Sure.
And the more complex life is, the less tenable evolution becomes.
You're saying the simple cell.
If there is a simple cell, which no simple cell exists, but if a simple cell could exist, if life was just a bag of salts,
right.
You could imagine it changing color or growing a spike or getting bigger or smaller.
Yeah. So it's easy to sort of fall into that trap. But then the more technology.
This is the bottom line. So Darwin's power goes up and up until the 1950s when mathematicians started applying theory to Darwinism and realized mathematically it doesn't work.
Right.
And then bioinformation starts increasing, and then about the year 1990, 2000.
Yes.
And now the cell is so incredibly complex, it absolutely defies Darwinian explanations.
Not only do we know the structure of DNA, not only can we map the genome, not only can we research these things in depth, but the more we research them, the more we realize that there's a ton of information that appears to have been designed by intelligence, and Darwin's theory goes out the window.
And they defy evolutionary explanations.
Yes.
So where does a scientist who doesn't believe God turn to? What is a scientist going to do who doesn't believe in God when they're faced with the evidence and they know that Darwinian processes don't work, the math isn't in their favor, the science isn't in their favor, life is too complicated?
Yeah.
So many of them are turning to aliens.
Aliens.
But the funny thing is, that's called intelligent design. They refuse to acknowledge that there must be an intelligent designer who's outside the universe.
Right.
Because who created the aliens is the obvious question.
Yeah.
They're stuck in an infinite loop.
Exactly.
Their philosophy,
so
their worldview is driving their conclusions.
And we believe a God outside of space and time. He had this plan, and He created all of this. When you start looking towards aliens as the intelligent that created life, as you said, you have to say, well, who created the aliens? They're inside space-time. They're inside the universe.
They're trapped in the same universe we're trapped in.
Right. Becomes a big question, an unanswerable question, but to deny the very thought of God. And in fact, I love this. Charles Spurgeon said, that evolutionists don't care so much for the theories themselves, but only so far as it may serve their purpose of escaping from the thought of God.
Bing, 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 bing.
Yep.
And that reflects on Romans 1 also.
It does, yeah.
Here's another idea here.
Okay.
Look at size. The smallest thing we can see, the biggest thing we can see.
Yeah.
And look at time, the shortest thing we can analyze and the longest thing we can analyze. Now, there is a zone of direct observation where we can see big and little things and measure amounts of time.
Yeah.
Outside of that zone are things like telescopes, microscopes, and atomic clocks.
Okay.
So we've expanded what we can see with our five senses with instruments.
Right.
Outside of that is the creation-evolution debate.
Oh.
Outside of that, we can only make deductions.
I like it.
This is a different type of science. The science in the middle, the orange and the red, that is our operational science, figuring out how things work.
Right.
But the historical sciences, the way things that happened in the past, it's only deduction. We can't actually see it. We have to assume great things in science to extrapolate backwards into the past.
Right.
You got to assume you're awake right now.
Yeah.
You have to assume this isn't a dream. You have to assume that yesterday actually existed, that it wasn't all created that with the memories in your head.
Okay.
Of course, we wouldn't believe that.
Right.
But why not?
But why not? It can't be directly observed. We're dealing with things that can only be deduced at that point.
But this kind of thought came from the Judeo-Christian worldview. We have a linear concept of time that other cultures and other religions never had. And that linear concept of time gave birth to modern science.
Wow.
Philosophy again.
Yes.
Here's another idea.
Okay.
Imagine that reality, these vertical red lines, and science is like a filter of reality. You're trying to figure out how things work by explaining it in a certain way.
Yeah.
Now, imagine you got your filter off kilter.
Okay.
You can still explain some things.
Yeah.
You still get some things right.
Yep.
That's evolutionary theory.
Bits and pieces.
Absolutely, evolutionary theory gets some things right.
Oh, sure.
Now, the tighter you get your filter to reality, the better you can explain things. And I'm not claiming that I have a perfect filter.
Right.
But the tighter your filter gets, the more your theory comports to the data.
Uh-huh.
And I think that, especially the evolutionists turning to panspermia, they realize the filter's cockeyed.
Yeah.
But they can't turn to the God filter.
Right.
That's a profound thought.
It really is.
But again, it's philosophy, worldview, and science. Just as a couple of examples, let's see where this leads.
Okay.
Look at this illustration on top there, right? The tree of life illustration that so many people are familiar with. Darwin wrote in one of his notebooks, I think 1838, I think. And he drew this branching tree diagram. I think it's the world's first evolutionary tree.
Yeah.
Well, philosophically, the evolutionists have tried to slam the creationists by teaching that we believe that all species exist in the exact same way that God initially created them. Some of them might be extinct or not, but that's not true at all. Going back decades before Darwin, creationists were writing how natural selection, even if they didn't use the word, how natural selection, how God's creative genius in species allows them to morph, change, and adapt to new environments.
Okay.
And so therefore we have this idea called the creationist forest,
Okay.
where God created independent groups of animals, not evolutionary related, but it doesn't mean they can't change within the group.
Right.
So this is philosophy again.
It means
worldview.
that this particular type of animal, whether it's a dog, will never interbreed with a cat.
That's right. But dogs and wolves and coyotes and African jackals and Australian dingoes are one species, and probably foxes.
Okay.
That's debatable,
Yeah.
but probably one species because they can interbreed.
Makes sense. Okay.
Again, this is worldview influencing even our approach to the fossil record. Or think of something like Darwin's finches. I mean, Darwin did not label which island he got his finches from. Why? Because his worldview was coloring his thinking. He never thought, he said, that they'd be different on different islands. He wrote that in his journal. It took the Christian, the anti-evolutionist, Captain Fitzroy, his collection of finches were required to sort out Darwin's collection of finches to call them Darwin's finches.
Okay.
Because Fitzroy carefully labeled which island he collected each specimen from. But Darwin's finches, this is a textbook examples of creationist ideas.
Yes.
Because these species can interbreed. They can form and disappear in a single season. They morph, they change, they ebb and flow, but they're all finches.
Yeah.
And they're always going to be finches.
Okay. Makes perfect sense.
Here's another idea. Since the time of Darwin, the evolutionists have tried to set up two different worlds. Here's the world of evolution, the world of creation. And they say, anything I find that supports my theory disproves your theory. Is that true? No, because of this.
That's right.
There's a huge overlap between the two theories. And what's inside there, I call it non-discriminating information.
Yeah.
It's information you cannot use to make a decision between the two theories.
Right.
And yet, when you read textbooks, when you watch evolution videos, they're always giving us non-discriminating information.
Yes.
And the information is something everyone agrees is true. And since they're saying yes, 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 therefore evolution has to be true.
Yeah.
But it's not. We have to get outside the overlap zone.
And that's a very small area. We're dealing with...
It's a very small, it's the origin of life.
Right.
It's cosmology is a huge one, Big Bang, that sort of thing. But as far as the information inside the cell...
Now, we've only got a couple of minutes left,
Okay.
but I do want to get to salamanders, and I would like to talk about diamonds.
Okay. First
Let's
of
take
all,
a look.
Salamanders.
Yes.
Science has to explain how you can get a fish fossil where the fish didn't look like it rotted before it fossilized. Science has to explain how you can get a salamander fossilized. Look at the gills. The tail's only a few cells thick.
Wow.
How do you turn a salamander to stone?
Yes.
Evolutionarily, this is a big problem.
It certainly
Because
is.
the evolution worldview says slow and gradual, fossils, things get buried and they slowly petrify. No, he had to be petrified almost immediately.
To preserve that detail.
Yes.
And what about diamonds?
Diamonds. Evolutionary theory would predict that there should be 0 carbon-14 in a diamond because they claim that diamonds are 1 billion years old.
Right.
Such.
Right.
If the entire Earth was made of carbon-14, it would disintegrate in less than 1 million years.
Okay.
So there should be no carbon-14 in diamonds. Why would you even stick one in the carbon-14 analyzing machine? But when you do, you discover they have datable carbon-14.
Wow.
Now the age, it doesn't mean these particular diamonds were 58,000 years old.
Right.
It means that they had primordial carbon-14. But so do dinosaur bones, so does coal, so does natural gas, so does shale.
All of these things are basically disrupting the evolutionary theory
Yes.
that over billions of years, life somehow originated and turned into you and I.